Jay Smith, thank you very much for joining us once again. It's been a while since we had you on, and of course with the current events with Hatun in Speaker's Corner, we wanted to have you on again. So thank you for your time once again.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, it's always good to come with you. I've been up on your site, and you're getting an awful lot of people from so many different walks of life. Kudos to you, because you're spreading it out so that you have almost every category ticked. And I wish I had your breadth and your ability.
Well, it's probably leftover from involvement in politics, where you hit all different areas. But everything I have learned, I think, on Islam has been from those first contacts and meetings with yourself and with Sam Solomon, and that's put me on this path. So thank you for your input. And I remember those 10 evenings at Kensington Temple many moons ago, where you were filling that building. So that's where my journey started. So thank you for that.
Well, that is a lot of years ago. Listen, Peter, we do go back quite a few years, and I can see how the Lord is just blessing you and increasing you. And the platform that you have now to get information out to people is so important, because we don't have enough people who are willing to put their heads above the parapet, who are willing to go public like you are doing. So thank you for your platform. Thank you for all the energy and the time and and expense that you're putting into it. And thank you for bringing people like myself and others on board. You brought Beth Peltola, I see, just last week. Thank you for bringing her on board as well.
Beth was on, and we had Robert Spencer 2 months ago, and I saw you did a video with him recently on his book. And Jay, can I just ask, you've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of books coming, a lot of videos on all different topics, including elephants in Mecca. Do you want to just give us a little bit of a 2-minute taster of some of the things you've been covering and what people will get when they go to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, this is the book that is Cause All the Problem. This is a book that was put out in 1997 by Dr. Robert Hoyland. This man reads and writes 18 languages, so he's a linguist. He was head of department at Oxford University, and he wrote this book in 1997, and it's called Seeing Islam as Others Saw It. Basically, what he was asking is a very simple question, and that is, where is this character? Did this guy even exist? This is Robert Spencer's book. This is the one why you brought him on the show.
Yeah.
This is the new one that's just come out. It's been out 2 weeks, because there's so much new material on this very question. And that is the historical question, Peter. We are fed up with the 9th and 10th century traditions, because they're so late and they're so far north. And so we're saying, if this guy did exist, if Islam did begin at this time, if the Quran was put together at this time, and if there's a city named Mecca, then there should be some reference to it in the century that these events happen. And we can't find anything at all. And so that's why we have been going back and asking that question. Did Muhammad exist? Did Mecca exist? Did the Quran exist in the 7th century? And the answer is absolutely not. Now you're going up and you can see this has just blown open the whole debate. Because our good friend Hatun Tosh went one step further, and she said, hold on a minute. Well, actually, it was by accident. I don't know if you know the story. She was in North Africa, and she was teaching there, and she was in Morocco, the country of Morocco. She doesn't speak Arabic herself. She's Turkish. Her father is a well-known Imam there in Istambul, but she wanted to get an Arabic Quran for the students that she was teaching. She went into the bookstore and says, could you give me please, an Arabic Quran? And the fellow behind the counter says, well, which one?
Which one?
Just, which one? Now, as a good Muslim, having grown up in an Imam's family, she knows that there's only one Quran, and there's always been one Quran, because by definition, if it is eternal, you cannot have any man-made manipulation. No Quran can be manipulated and changed and accreted and deleted. Otherwise, God no longer is protecting it. And it says very clearly in the Quran in chapter 15, verse 9, that Allah will protect it. Not one word, not one letter will change. So she heard this. This was like a paradigm shift for her. She says, there's more than one. She says, yeah, we have here. Just take a look at these here. Those are 9 different Arabic Qurans that I have right here. Well, I have Hafs there. I have Warish. I have Qalun. I have Ibn Umayyad. I have Shoba. I have Ibn Kathir. I have Ibn Qusay. And so he just started naming a number of these off to her. She said, well, give me all of them. And so he did. And of course, as a result of that, she brought them back to London. And that's where this whole story, this whole saga began. And because of this 5'2" lady back there in 2013, we then took it down to Speaker's Corner in 2016. I'll be sharing some shots of that. But that is really what's going on here. And this is something that we need to talk about, because the press doesn't understand this. The world doesn't understand this. The church doesn't even understand this. I would suggest even people working with Muslims don't know what Hatun has done, don't understand what she represents, who she is, her background, or how she has shut down the Quran. She has shut down the Quran like no one other in my lifetime, and has done so in a very public way, as Hatun is usually good at doing.
Well, do you want to, we had the privilege of having Hatun on a couple of months ago, but do you want to just give us an update? Obviously on Sunday, she was there as every Sunday speaking. You obviously have much experience of doing that. You did it for well over a decade. Give us an update and use some of your slides and let us know what happened to her and what this big issue is. Why is she annoying them so much?
Yeah, let me do the PowerPoint, because I did it at another interview that I was just at earlier today, and so in some ways you can benefit it. But this is back on July 25th, so we're talking about 3 days ago. We're talking about there in Hyde Park. Now, Speaker's Corner is the one place with the bastion of speech. This is the one place you should be able to say anything. I'm not going to show you the video of the attack. You can go up on Fander Films. That's my YouTube channel. I put it up within hours of it happening. I got it here in the United States. I immediately went and pulled down all the videos I could find and created a story real quickly so that people could see it, just to allay people's fears that she was okay. There you can see she, on the right, she has collapsed from the attack of the knife that punctured her head. And also you can see on her hand, she got quite a few wounds on her hand as she was protecting herself. This guy was going full tilt into her, and he was going for her throat. He was trying to either get her eye out, and then he was going for her throat. Now, once she was out for about, I would say, 2 minutes. Once she got back onto her feet, look at the picture on the left. Rather than sit there and recriminate and say all these things essential against the, what has just happened. And this is, I'm going to quote what she says. Essential for you to remember, dear Muslim people, Lord Jesus does not need me. I can die. That's not going to help you, because the Lord Jesus does not need me. However, Allah is in need of you for to be God. In order for him, that's her broken English. In order for him to be God, he needs you. Allah cannot do without you. Your prophet cannot live without you. Cutting people's eyes is to help you. I mean, bless her heart. And then she went right into the gospel, and she just started preaching Jesus crucified. And she said, you Muslims, rather than trying to cut me up, why don't you just receive Jesus? You need to be redeemed. God, I just said, this is classic Hatun. And this is one reason why she is so dangerous. She is so clear of what her volition is. She is so clear of why she's there. She is so clear of what her remit is, and she was responsible to only one person, and that's Jesus Christ. She doesn't even care about her own health or her own safety. Now, the fellow that did it is this guy here, and I'm going to put his picture up there, because if any of you, this is going out there in Britain, those of you who are in Britain who are watching this program, some of you may recognize this guy. He was wearing a hoodie, and of course he had the COVID mask on, so that really covered much of his face. But he was the one that attacked her. If any of you know this face, if any of you know who this fellow is, call 101 and just tell them, say you know who he is, give them the name. The reference, if you want the reference, is CAD 4376/25 July. 25 July is the date it happened. Or if you don't want to be known who you are, if you don't want to give your name, you can call anonymously to 0800-555-111. Here is another picture of Hatun's attacker. What was interesting, this was taken just by accident. People didn't know who he was. He was just standing there with his hands in his pockets, looking straight ahead like he was in a trance. When she came up with her backpack, as she came forward, it was raining at the time, he immediately went into action. So it was obvious to all of us looking at that this was premeditated, that he went to Speaker's Corner to kill her, that he completely covered up all his garb because he did not want to be recognized. So I just wanted to start with that, because that's important. And then we can get into what was really going on. What really is going on is these books here, but we can get into that later on. We'll come back to that.